into the DNVR Avalanche pregame show. Avs versus Senators in Ottawa tonight.
Ottawa.
Rudo,
Nice and
AJ,
snowy.
Jesse coming at you. Yeah.
Still
What's
got a little bit
like?
of mouth sensitivity there, it sounds like.
Yeah, left side.
Yep.
Left side's a little rough right now, but we're doing all right.
Left side.
Better than yesterday. Strong side?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not strong right now. The left side of my mouth ain't feeling strong. But anyway, Austria, dang. All right. That's a new one. Technically the land
Austria,
of Berkey.
hell yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yep. Anyway, feeling good tonight? Let's just start there.
Let's just start there.
Let's just start there. Feeling good tonight? Yes or no?
Let's just start there. I feel so good tonight. So good. No, honestly, this I don't know about you guys, but this feels like a Nathan Mackinnon game is coming.
Agreed.
Yep.
This feels like we're going to see one of those 3 or 4 point nights where it's not, because, he had 2 points in his first game back and they were kind of quiet.
Yeah.
This won't be that.
Yeah, I have the exact same feeling.
This feels thunderous.
Yep.
And like a 4 point night where I'm not going to say that they win easily or whatever, but it's kind of his reminder to everybody that, hey, this guy's also pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Was talking in the Discord earlier today. We'll get to Kadri and Byram in a little bit, but it was like, doesn't matter what the Avs lineup is tonight because Nathan MacKinnon's putting up points. He's just going to take care of business. That's the feeling I have, certainly for the night. So maybe a little preview of our betting there also.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Just saying.
This does, like,
Just saying.
he, 2 points in his first game back, kind of quiet points, and he had 1 assist in the last game.
Yeah, which I didn't even know until I went and looked at the box score and was like,
and
Snicker.
I think he got it because that goal ended up going to Makar. I think had it gone to Landy, I don't know if he would have gotten the point. So that's probably why it felt like that. But no, this does. Had you not said it, as I hit myself in the fucking face with this, I would have said it where it does. It just feels like, okay, he's shaking the rust off. He's got an opponent that he can just beat up on, and I think he's going to.
Yeah, like the timing, knocking
everything
like you
is
said,
added up,
knocking all that rust off, like all the timing stuff that you have when you first get back. Like, this
not that he's looked bad.
Yeah, this just feels like it's the game where one, you have kind of a downish opponent where you can kind of take advantage of a poor defensive team, and it's that timing.
Yeah,
it's that third game. You expect him to take flight here, so.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and not just Nathan MacKinnon, but it feels like that for me for the entire top line. Obviously, if Nathan MacKinnon's going, the rest of that line.
That's the thing is like if he really gets rolling, then it's hard for the guys that. It's hard for Mikko and Landy to not be involved. Although sometimes it happens on a power play where Makar ends up with 2 power play points and Landy doesn't end up with any or whatever.
Mm-hmm. This feels like it could be one of those nights, though, where like I always hate saying this stuff because like you just whatever.
I mean, what do you want me to say? That they're shitters? Like they're a poor defensive team. Like they are. Ottawa's not good defensively.
7 goals the last times these two teams played. So
yeah, and like, but this does feel like it could be one of those nights where the Avs top line combines for 11 points or something like that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. And honestly,
the thing is,
the Avs need a game like that.
They've had one game this year, the Tampa Bay game, where the top line
really
was
carry the load,
the story of the game. 20 games in, and the top line has been the main story one time, and
that's almost what gets you a little excited because I think that is absolutely true. And you sit there, you're like, cool. So the top story's been the top line has been the story once, and you're still off to a pretty good start after 20 games. If that line starts rolling, getting back into gear, getting back into form of how we know them, that can propel this team a long way. And I think, I really do, I think tonight kind of starts a stretch of that.
I'm going to say it again because every time I say it, it guarantees it'll happen. But you can't keep getting 3 points out of Kadri every night, and you can't keep getting shorthanded goals every game.
Yeah,
At some point, that motor is going to run out.
Well, like, your second line is not going to continue to score 2 goals per game.
Right.
And that's where they've been, is that they're giving you multiple goals per game. And it's like, okay, you get the adjustment to now your top line gives you those goals, and your second line has a night off. Not saying that they should, like, take a night off.
No. But it's good. Yeah, you will eventually have a night where they're off.
Yeah.
And tonight may actually be that night by default, as Kadri's a game time decision. They're going to see how he feels.
Yeah.
I believe I just saw that he's taking warm-ups.
Well, and I think that that's what a game time decision is that a guy typically will take warm-ups.
Yeah.
And then how does he
Assess
feel?
how he feels.
Yeah.
Teams will have 19 skaters take warm-ups all the time. It does happen. So
Yeah. So I mean tonight.
And sometimes it's because the guy who's a scratch just wants to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I know that there were times when oh God, he plays in Barbario would do that. Where he would take warm-ups and he would skate around for 2 laps and then he would just get off the ice.
Yeah.
He just wanted to be out there. He wanted to feel like he was part of the team. You know, he hadn't played in a month, and that was kind of a way for him to stay in contact.
Chat is saying McDonald. Chambers tweeted out. Mike Chambers tweeted out that McDonald is taking warm-ups. There hasn't been any official announcement of whether he's in the lineup or not, but he is skating for warm-ups.
Yeah.
So
well, and you know that the Avs Twitter account typically releases the lineup when warm-ups start.
Yeah, right.
The fact that hasn't happened tells you that decisions are still being made.
Right.
And I'd be willing to bet
we'll see
that McDonald going is probably dependent on if Kadri goes.
Yeah, I imagine they wouldn't change anything on the back end. Right?
The thing with McDermott and McDonald is that
they both play.
They can be both forward or defense, and you're just sort of like, okay.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess you could technically even run 7D and 11 forwards if you wanted to, but with you having 2 defensemen that have actively played forward for you in multiple games this season, I don't know why you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
So, normally at the pregame show with our game notes section, we go through the lineup and then talk about other stuff, but because the lineup is still in flux at the moment...
It's a big nobody knows at the moment,
I mean, we'll see. I'm assuming Johansson is in net. I'm assuming that... that's the end of my assumptions.
Yeah.
Yep.
No,
I assume Johansson is net, and then everything else to be determined.
I figured it would be... If there was going to be Annunen, that is something they would have announced earlier in the day. First NHL start type thing. Would have made a little bit bigger deal out of it.
Also, you got to fly the parents in.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
People need to know. And Annan's parents are flying a long way.
I was gonna say, especially if they're coming from Europe. I'll be in Philly and New York, so we won't have these questions where we just don't know here in a couple of days. But yeah, we're just not getting much out of Ottawa today in terms of what lineup is and stuff like that. But
yeah, we have sort of a show planned, but I guess we can derail and answer this question. If no Kadri tonight, do you just move New Hook up?
I would.
4 seconds ago, no Byram, Kadri, or McDonald in warm-ups right now.
From
Chambers.
So now he's saying McDonald's not in warm-ups either.
I believe, let me go back through and read the last one. I believe he was saying that it appeared as if he will take warm-ups, and now it sounds like they're on the ice for warm-ups and he's not out.
Byram,
Kadri
or McDonald, so that doesn't make any sense.
So yeah, take that with a grain of salt, but he did say Johansson in net.
So that's the same lineup last game minus Kadri. That doesn't make sense.
You're just playing with short a skater if you're not using McDonald, like.
So based on that, because Kadri and Byram are easy to spot, I can totally get if someone missed Jacob McDonald. Based on that tweet, my assumption would be no Kadri, no Byram. McDonald will be in the lineup. And then he did say Johansson is in net.
Okay.
Sure, yeah.
Anyway,
great content.
Yeah, I'm gonna move on from this because at this point we're just
decipher random information. Anyway,
this is like the Zodiac letters.
Let's talk about the Avs defense instead. Obviously had a much better performance on the whole the other night against Montreal.
Sans Jack Johnson, who was garbage.
Terrible. But the problem is, you know what you're gonna get out of Jack Johnson there, right?
Yeah,
the expectation isn't much more than that.
The downside, of course, is that EJ has a bad night one night. Jack Johnson has a bad night the other night. Can you get solid nights from them at the same time?
You would hope.
Because if you get,
did I not nail that?
Yep.
If you get
there you go.
If you get solid nights out of them at the same time, your defense is pretty good.
Yep.
Because
Agreed.
you're always expecting Girard, Taves, and McCarr to bring a certain baseline level.
At least decent solid hockey. Yeah.
Girard's baseline has been a little bit lower this year than we expect.
Been up and down.
But his highs, we really haven't gotten too much into his highs when he's played really, really well.
Who are we talking about?
Girard.
G? Yeah.
I mean, he had the 4-point game that we were all like, oh my God. But outside of that, we really haven't spent a lot of time on him when he has played well. I thought he was much better against Montreal.
Yep.
Being home in front of all the crowd and, all the family and friends. Historically, he has roughly 90 people there that he gets tickets for. I don't know how many this time, with COVID and everything, who knows. But
if I asked you to invite 90 people to a very special event,
no. The answer is
not
no.
even close.
Yeah.
I'd get to maybe 15.
Like if you,
I would be like, do you guys have siblings? Like,
right. If someone was like, here's 90 tickets, fill it. I'd be like,
you want to bring your kids? Like at that point, I would be like, look on the lookout for Blaze types.
Yeah.
They have 5 children, and it's like,
yeah.
There we go. Let's goose the numbers.
For the record, we were correct.
Yeah.
Jacob McDonald was just miss. He is in warmups.
Yep.
And per Elliot Friedman, it is no Kadri tonight.
Yep. No Kadri, no Byram.
So it looks like it'll be same lineup as last game, minus Kadri, plus McDonald, Johansson, and net.
Yep.
Nailed it.
Kadri was just dinged up in the Montreal game. There's nothing specific, but it doesn't sound very serious. So.
Also, Darcy Kemper did skate this morning at morning skate. Didn't take any pucks.
Yep.
But he was on the ice.
Look, the fact that he's still on the trip tells you that whatever he's got isn't serious.
Well, and Bednar did say after morning skate that he's a possibility to return to game action on the trip.
That would not, if they had ruled him out for the rest of the trip and just said no, he'd be home. Yeah. They would have put him on a plane home. They would have sent his ass back to Denver. He wouldn't just stay with the team.
Yep.
Because that's just not what you do. If you're not going to be part of the trip, if you're not going to be, if there's a 0% chance you play, you don't stay. So that's encouraging news that he's still on the trip, and that Byram today was skating without the no contact.
In full contact, yeah.
And he's back at that, and I keep seeing these conversations where I'm going to derail this a little bit, but we're already kind of...
This show's off the rails.
We spent 10 minutes trying to guess the lineup.
So it's true. I mean, I've seen a lot of this like, oh, they should just give him the rest that he needs, which I continue to stress that is a fundamental misunderstanding of what is happening, what Byram is going through, because what Byram is going through
is what he has.
Exactly, because him going into a game, him not going into a game doesn't guarantee his health gets better the next day.
He's just okay, or he's not.
Yeah,
right, because he could sit in the press box all night, feel 100% like he could have played that night, and wake up the next morning and feel like shit, and he's got the symptoms, and they just kind of come back. So he's playing this day by day, and it's just a fundamental misunderstanding, this idea that, if you give him the more rest. I mean, if you play him, obviously you're exposing him to the possibility that somebody does hit him in the head, and that will create problems versus not the possibility of it if he sits out. But that doesn't change the fact that him sitting out progresses him towards being better the next day.
Pure physical exertion isn't the issue.
Exactly. It's not. That's not the issue at hand. It's just is he feeling the symptoms today or is he not?
Yeah.
And giving him an extra day off doesn't do anything for him.
Yeah.
Except not play him, where he can't get hit in the head in a game if he's not in a game.
Right.
I mean,
and that's
it doesn't matter if he has previous concussions or not. Every game, there's a chance you get hit in the head.
That's a great point.
And that's the thing, is that at some point, like, I don't mind them being like, hey, this kind of in and out. Let's give him the extra game. Let's not take that chance of him getting hit tonight or whatever. But the fact that he's still on the trip, the fact that he's back in practice already, whatever symptoms he's experiencing are clearly mild.
Yeah.
And that he's in control of this process, that they've turned over the keys to him and said, when you feel better, you're on the ice.
Yep.
And when it comes to a game, it's more of a collaborative effort of, we're going to put you in, we're not going to, but they've given him kind of the power here to decide, if you're not feeling very well, we don't want you in games. We don't want to exacerbate any issues here by him taking a headshot.
Right.
But it's obviously mild, and I think that there's a decent chance, and this is purely speculative on my part, but I think that there's a decent chance that he plays on Monday. Regardless, him resting this game, not resting, it doesn't matter.
Right.
This is not a knee injury.
Right, where he needs time to
people are treating the head injury the same way that you would any other injury, where,
and it's just
maybe the extra 72 hours of rest, I can tell you, being off of whatever one of those types of injuries is, sometimes it can make all the difference in the world. And you get back up and you're just like, oh, it's so much better.
Yeah.
With the concussion system, with the post-concussion syndrome, it's just that's not
right.
what it is.
Well, and what I do like about what they're doing is, it sounds like, and even this is even true from before he went out again, it almost kind of sounds like they're walking him through full practices, full off-ice workouts. Then today they've got him in morning skate. And then they're just removing the game, exactly what you just said, to eliminate that possibility for him getting hit in the head. But otherwise, they're basically saying, are you feeling good going through everything else? You're going through everything that every other player is in terms of exercise and exerting yourself and being in the arena and the lights and all that. Cool, you're feeling 99%. We're going to hold you out to take out that risk of getting hit in the head.
Yeah.
But otherwise, if you wake up tomorrow, you're still feeling good, we'll go back.
Yeah, we'll proceed forward, and we'll go back. And you'll go back in the lineup.
And it's a random game in the middle of December, right?
Right.
Regardless of the outcome, it's not worth rushing a dude to get him back for this game.
Well, and this is the thing, is that it's not, again, like, take all the time.
I hear you.
Take all the time that he needs. It's obvious that I think 5 years ago he'd be playing tonight.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And he probably would have played against Montreal.
Most likely.
5 years ago, he probably would have played against Montreal. But the Avs have turned over the power of this decision to the players, which is a good decision.
Yeah.
Smart. It's a good thing. So, it's not what I really wanted to talk about in regards to the defense. It was mostly just about mostly about how the defense drives offense and how the Avs are an elite offensive team because
defense in the league,
because their defense contributes the way that it does, not so much because their forwards are just so good, but because their defense activates and pushes the play the way that they do. So defense, check that box. MVP was mostly about, you made the meme the other day. Who's Colorado's best player? Who's their most valuable player? I said low key. I thought Landy had been maybe their
the quiet version.
They're like most consistent, like kind of their rock. But through 20 games, it's a quarter of the season. We talked to you. We had the pod yesterday.
Yep.
Disappointments and surprises and all that. But if you had to have an MVP through 20 games, you can only pick one.
Yeah.
I think it's got to be Makar for me.
See, for me, it's Kadri with Makar. Right behind him in the number 2 slot.
It's those two by a mile, I think.
Yeah.
Makar, I think, has done a great job of taking over that true X factor guy on the ice, where he's generated some stuff out of absolutely nothing this season. So I can totally see why you go there. But I mean, without a lot of Kadri's production, the Avs aren't sitting where they're sitting in the standings. Not that they're sitting in a phenomenal place, but you're in a place you are very comfortable in, given your games in hand. Yeah, given what time of year it is.
The only real concern standings wise is that Minnesota
is running away.
Has taken all of those games in hand and won them.
Yeah, has made use of them. Yeah.
So, because even if you win all of your games in hand right now, you're still behind.
Back of Minnesota.
Yeah, you're still behind.
And
you're concerned that Minnesota is way out there right now, but the rest of the division.
You could bury them, basically.
Like Chicago and Arizona have come up a little bit. Dallas has kind of been like this.
Yeah.
Nashville's been a little bit on the rise.
St. Louis has gone
Winnipeg
like
and St. Louis have gone like this. So it's they've all come crunching back into that that really mediocre Subway sandwich that we all expected them to be.
Yeah, and in terms of Minnesota, like 100%, they have made great use of those extra games. But like they're playing back-to-back last night and tonight. So, I mean, they are still continuing to play just globs of games that will even out at some point. And like we talked about yesterday, we talked about the Wild. When you just go look at what is going on with that team right now, for that to continue for a full 82 games would be something very, very special for that group. That's 13, 14 Avs level of number of guys having career years and career years late in their, in their 30s and stuff like that. So
you're talking about dudes that have careers highs of like 25 points, and they have
20 points right now.
Points games, and it's like, okay.
It's like Marcus Foligno has like 15 points right now. And it's like, imagine that the Avs were being led in scoring by Tyson Jost,
right,
Val Nichushkin,
and Darren Helm,
and JT Compher, like good quality NHL players who all have career highs right in the 30-point range.
Yep.
Just totally popping off.
Yeah. And obviously they've got Kaprizov, who's having a very good season. But
he's insane. Like he's insane.
Yeah.
He's got like 30 points in 24 games or something. Like
man, I wish I got $5 for my teeth.
Kaprizov is a legit superstar caliber of talent. He's special.
Yeah, I was. He was obviously very, very good last year. I was a little skeptical to see how he would do this year. Now that there's a year of guys being able to watch him in the NHL, how is he going to play when he's not playing the LA Kings, the Anaheim Ducks, and the San Jose Sharks 9 times in a row? And unfortunately, I've been very wrong to this point. He's been very, very good. But again, I look down that lineup and it's like, I just don't.
You look at this and you go, can they really keep doing this?
Right, because that roster, the roster is not very good.
It's all right.
Right.
That's the thing. Up and down, they are.
The thing is,
the sum is greater than the whole of the parts.
You expect them to get it done defensively, maybe, when you look at their roster, but
it's a solid defense. But again, we talked about this yesterday. You missed the show yesterday,
I was kind of there.
Dmitry Kulikov, Alex Goligoski, and Jonas Brodin are all on not only career paces, but to double or triple career. Yeah. When you're talking about guys who've been in the league for 10 years, being on those types of paces, you're starting. You have legitimate
Well, and suddenly Cam Talbot has rejuvenated his career.
Well, Cam Talbot is really right where he was last year. He's really solid. He's not amazing. He's not awful. Mackinnon has dragged them down because he's been brutally bad. But Cam Talbot continues to be who Cam Talbot always has been. But we're wasting time on the Wild and Pregame show.
But I'm sorry, I derailed us there in terms of you're feeling all right.
Pick an MVP, dog.
Right. Yeah. You're feeling all right, and a lot of that is due to my MVP to this point in the season, Nazem Kadri, helping keeping them afloat and keeping them to a point where you say, okay, Minnesota's got a little bit of a berth on us right now, but nothing that we don't feel like we can't overcome.
Especially because there's a handful of head-to-head games that remain.
Right.
You're going to have an opportunity in 4-point games to close some gaps.
Not taking anything away from Kadri, but the reason I picked Makar over him is, one, dude has 10 goals, which is tied for the team lead. He's throwing the puck into the net, not just collecting points, not to take anything away from Kadri.
Sure.
And two, I know game winners is a fuzzy stat that you can't really do a ton with. But
says something though.
When you look at Makar's points,
not really.
They are
says something.
They come at relevant times in the hockey game more often than Kadri, who, yes, he will score important points too, but he's having a 3-point night because he assists on the 6th and 7th goal of the game in a 7-3 win.
How true is that though?
I'm not sure how true Kadri's are. For Makar, the majority of his points have come when the game is either 1 or 2 goals of difference.
Okay,
I think it's a fair argument. I mean, like I said, for me, Makar's not
like the 7th goal in a 7-0 game. You could be like, this is stat padding, but like the 5th goal in a 5-2 game.
Yes,
it's an important goal,
But the Avs,
because that's the goal that ends the game.
The Avs have won quite a few games,
running away
by a lot.
But he's also been Kadri's also been part of the separation from close game to,
and that's fair.
Pack it in, boys. Like, let's start drinking. It's because when you get those goals, you look at the Burakovsky goal that Kadri assists on.
Yeah.
Makar gets the game winner, but that game, that goal, the third goal in a 2-1 game, in the halfway through the third period or whatever, like ends that game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like it removed the competitive element from that game, and it was just like, okay,
yeah.
Now you just have to not blow this.
For sure.
So for me, trying to elevate points over the others, I hate game-winning goals as a stat. I think game-winning goals should exist as a stat, but it should be actual game-winning goals. It should be the goal in overtime.
I agree. I don't like that it's called game-winning goals, but I think it should be like some form of a relevant goal, right? Like there's something to that stat, and
don't disagree.
Well, like when you get into like the Joe Sakic's got had like 9 overtime winners in the postseason.
That's way different than
that
a
is
game-winning goal.
That is a stat that I'm like means a thing.
Don't get game-winning goals twisted with clutch factor, because game-winning goals are the third goal in a game.
Because Alex Newhook has only scored game-winning goals in the NHL, technically, right?
Except for the one.
Yeah, it was all
because Matt Duchene scored a meaningless goal with 5 minutes left. He doesn't get a game-winning goal now, and it's like, is he less of a clutch player now because that game-winning goal disappeared? Like,
no, but I do get what you're saying. Like, to me, I don't think that there's a ton you put into it, but I do think there is some level of relevancy to it. Either way, for me, those are the two players.
Yeah, I think the real answer is that they split it, and without either one, they would not be anywhere near where they are.
Yeah, 100%. And I think with that, we can move on.
Real quick, get our bets here. I think we're all taking MacKinnon.
Points, goals, shots, over.
The whole thing.
I have him as both first and anytime goal scorer. I just threw a little bit on because I mean, like those first goal scorers,
those odds triple. Yeah. And it's like if you get that right, you're like, all right, well,
underrated betting strategy. Last goal scorer.
Yeah.
Bet on guys like Jack Johnson. Or EJ.
Oh, I like
empty netters.
So I like to take the game prop or the game prop of the last team score, because you can still bet on it once the game has started.
Right.
So you can see how the game is developing.
Team gets up, you know who's gonna have the empty net.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And you can like the odds aren't amazing, but they're usually still in your favor, and you can just be like, all right, I'll throw money on this one.
I've also got Mikko over 1.5 points.
Probably just out of proxy because Nathan
throwing
MacKinnon.
Pucks at MacKinnon, yeah.
Nathan MacKinnon, I think we're all kind of expecting this to be a whip it out and helicopter it around and show it off.
When I first had that feeling
super
earlier,
hard kind of game
of like, I think Nate goes off and Mikko had real nice. I think he was like plus 185 to have 2 points, and I was like, take that.
Yeah.
It's
going to be hilarious when they get shut out and Nathan MacKinnon gets injured 4 minutes into the game.
Oh my God.
And our post-game pod is like, whoops.
Yeah. Or they, even if they win and lines 2 through 4 just go off and that top line is silent.
This is the Logan O'Connor 5-point game where you're just like, what?
Every time MacKinnon gets the puck, he loses it and pouts and like goes to the bench, and it's like,
This is the one where he goes through 5 sticks because he just keeps breaking him over the bench.
Throwing him into the stands.
He's not allowed to do that during game.
I don't know. Jack Hughes did it after he scored earlier this year.
Yeah, but that wasn't... Well, I guess he done.
And everyone got real mad about it.
Jack Hughes and then, was it Zegras or Troy Terry that did it last week? One of the two did it.
Yeah,
almost identical. It was literally almost identical to the Jack Hughes thing.
For the record, I think it's great. I love the silly where you give the fans
I like that.
But
see, I like that as an overtime winner. If you're throwing your stick over the boards and you're down fucking 7-1.
Every goal. All right, we're going to get out of here. Game starts in like 7 minutes. Hope y'all enjoy the game. You know you can find us here post-game too. Be sure to like and subscribe here on YouTube to know when we go live.
Zegras, thank you, Alyssa.
That's it. Hopefully my teeth hurt less next time you see me.
Team Bet Flip.